Okay, in this video, we're going to look at graphing y equals ax minus p squared plus q. We're going to look at every transformation we dealt with. Okay, down here we got a nice reflection. I know Mother's Day is coming up pretty soon. So here we go, mom. And if it reflects in the x-axis, wow, mom, wow. Okay, let's take a look here. Graphing. Graphing y equals ax minus p squared. Our vertex will be like the opposite sign what's in the brackets, which will be the p, and the same sign q. That's going to be our vertex. Our step pattern is A in the front of the bracket. So it's 1a, 3a, 5a. Now, if you didn't understand this A before, you have to go back to a couple of videos, or you have to go back a couple lessons to make sure you understand this A before we do it. Okay. Now there's going to be transformations, so let's go over them. Role of A, it defines the shape. We have a number of things A does. It does a vertical stretch, vertical compression, or reflection, and that was one of our first transformations that we learned. Okay, role of P moves the graph right or left, so it makes it go right or left. It's a horizontal translation by P, either right or to the left. And finally, role of Q moves the graph up and down. So it's a vertical translation by Q, up or down. So sometimes they say vertical translation by like 5 units up. Sometimes they use the units in here. Same here, they put the word units. Okay, and same with sometimes they go vertical stretch by a factor of 5 or vertical stretch by 5. I try to shorten it a little bit. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, graph the following on the same grid and state the transformation. And we'll also add the axis of symmetry. So first I'm going to graph it and then we'll do the transformation here. So here's what I do first, okay? I look at the vertex. So watch this. I look at the vertex. So here, I'll use this one color here. I'll use red. The -3, okay? So the vertex, I'll call it V. It goes 3, opposite sign of what's in the bracket, okay? And over here, 9, same sign as outside the bracket. So again, opposite sign. This is same sign. Okay? Now, don't worry about the transformation. We'll do this later. I wonder if I can just move it down. Well, it's all one. We'll just hit enter. We'll just put this way down and look at that later. Okay. Now, A. So A is the number in the front. So A here, this, A is -2. So it's a number in the front. So instead of 1, 3, 5, we multiply by -2 and we get -2, -6, and -10. And we're going to go like over 1, down -2, over 1, down 6, over 1, down 10. So you had to understand that before to understand this. The new part is finding the vertex here. Opposite sign goes here, same sign there. So we're going to put a dot at the vertex, which is 3, 9. We're going to go graph it right away. So we're going to go over to this graph. Right. We're going to put a dot at 3, up 9. I'll use red. I think it was better to use the mouse here. So here's 3, 1, 2, 3 on the X, and you go up 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we put a nice dot right there. As soon as I get that pen to work, there. So all the way 5. Let's do this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we put a nice dot here. From that dot, we go over 1. And then we go down 2 because it was -2 with the step pattern. And we go over 1, down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And over 1, and I can't remember the next number. I go take a look here. So down here, 2, 6, 10. So I got to go over 1 and down 10. So I go over 1 square, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I put a dot. Now we have symmetric points or equal points on the other side. So there's a point here. There has to be a point on the other side of the vertex here. There's a point here. So there has to be a symmetric point, we call them, on the other side of the vertex right there. There's a point here. Well, there's our y-intercept right there. The other side, the y-intercept, I don't know if that's -9. I think -10 is the darker one. -5 is the darker one right there. Okay, now we're going to connect the dots. So I'm going to try to use my pen and do the best job I can. I'm sure you guys can do better than me. So here we go. I go up, connect that dot, come around. It's more of a U shape. Come here, through there. Whoop, missed that one a little bit. And then put arrows on the end. And I'll label it. Usually if there's one graph, well, this one you should always label these kind. But let's just label it y equals, let's see what it is. -2. So -2. Let's see. X minus 3 squared plus 9. X minus 3 squared, whoops, plus 9. Okay, let's go back to the transformation. And you can tell from the graph how it transforms. So look, let's look at the A. So we know, first we know it's a reflection in the x-axis because it opens down. So we can write that right away, reflection in the x-axis. Okay, the next one, okay, we know that it's stretched by 2. It got stretched out. It wasn't so small, it's stretched out. So we put vertical stretch by 2. Okay, now we got to see where it moves. So here, I like graphing it first and then doing them. But it goes 1, 2, 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way 9 up. So 3 right. So whoops. Okay, so over here, let's take a look here. Over here. It's down here. So 3 right. So horizontal translation, 3 right. So horizontal translation. Three right. And then we have a vertical translation. And it went up, 9 up. And there's a transformation for that one. Okay, now let's go back to the graph and add the axis of symmetry. So where the line is. So let's draw a straight line. So let's actually use this function here. We'll draw a straight line here. There's our axis of symmetry, which cuts this graph in half. Don't forget to add the 2 arrows at the end. So we'll add the 1 arrow up here and there. And there's our axis of symmetry. Let's label it. So it's x equals 3. It's actually our p component, this part here. Just opposite sign, x equals 3. Okay, let's move on. On the next video, I will show how to graph the next one. So we're going to go on to this one on the next video.